When it comes to tradition, Dallas Cowboys history is unmatched. From success on the field that includes 5 world championships and 8 Super Bowl appearances to larger-than-life legends such as Tom Landry, Roger Staubach, and Emmitt Smith, the Cowboys are one of the greatest sports franchises in the world. With great success comes greater stories, and in 2015, the Dallas Cowboys media team decided to reveal some of the greatest stories ever told. Introducing the documentary series, Deep Blue, which has gone behind the scenes to share some of the amazing history that has made the Cowboys America's team. As we get ready to dive in for our 10th season of Deep Blues, we wanted to go back and share some of the greatest moments captured in the series over the first 9 seasons. We give you a decade of Deep Blue.
Roger takes the snap, pumps it once, he's going long.
Before the Cowboys even played a game, they were getting creative, especially when it came to adding a quarterback. In Season 6, the documentary, Birth of a Franchise, went behind the scenes to capture a phone call between President Tex Schramm and minority owner Bedford Wynn to secure the rights of star SMU quarterback Don Meredith.
In the case of Meredith, who may not want, tax-wise, it may not be good for him getting his first year's salary plus a sizable bonus all in 1 year.
Yeah.
Or the salary, or the large salary he'll be getting over his full each year, is to work out a deal of where, like, $2,000, $3,000, $4,000, $5,000 are expenses to him for promotional duties.
Right.
12 months out of the year.
Yeah. Well, of course, we're going to have him on a salary the rest of the year, too, so that can be worked out.
All right. You don't get any further.
No. In fact, we had a meeting on him this afternoon, and we'll have something busted on him by a week from today.
All right. Wonderful.
That turned out to be a wise move, as Dandy Don is considered the first great quarterback in team history. From one Ring of Honor member to another, Drew Pearson is the original number 88, and while he was known for many clutch moments during his career, the Season 7 documentary, Catching Hail, detailed arguably the greatest play in Cowboys history.
Had to get rid of it. It was going to Drew.
So now we go to a 2nd and 10, 32 seconds left.
What can you do? I said, let's run it on Nate Wright. This time, run a turn-in takeoff, okay? Turn-in was our bread and butter.
A 2nd and 10, 32 seconds left.
Taking a low snap, Staubach pump fake to the left side to try and freeze Viking safety Paul Krause.
So he pumps Paul, brings it back to me. By that time, I'm way downfield after I ran that turn-in takeoff. And Nate, bid on the turn-in, because when I came out, we were even. And I knew I had that one gear to shift into to create that separation if the ball was thrown out.
There was just one problem. The ball was underthrown.
I kind of kidded him because I said, well, Drew, I had to pump to get Paul Krause, move him over there, and that's why I intentionally underthrew you. And he said, yeah, sure.
He is going for broke. Drew Pearson, he got him. Touchdown.
So he caught it on his hip.
I saw it was underthrown. I used that swim move, taking my outside arm to try to gain inside position on the defensive back. Now, when I did that and brought that around, there was contact. He's right there. How could I not hit him, okay? There was contact, but there was no deliberate push. You never seen any arm extension, none of this. It was just contact. And when I brought the arm around, bam, the ball hit me right there in my hands, and it went through my hands, and I caught it right there between my elbow and my hip.
Boy, what a play that was. What a ball game, huh? Drew Pearson hadn't caught a pass until the 4th quarter, and then comes back and catches a 50-yard touchdown pass.
I'm kind of proud as I'm a Catholic kid from Cincinnati, so I could have said Our Father, Glory Be, or Apostles' Creed, but I did say after the game, I closed my eyes and said a Hail Mary, and after the game, that became the Hail Mary, the original Hail Mary.
It's a great feeling, it's more than ability, it's a lot of luck involved, and I just happened to be the man on that spot right then, and must have been a lot of people praying because it was just a lucky catch.
For many players, there are difficult obstacles to overcome just to make it to the NFL. In Season 4, From the Edge told the story of Tyrone Crawford, who shared a terrifying story from his younger days that left him thankful to be alive.
So we hopped in the car with a couple friends, and we went out to a party, and it was across the tracks, and we were having fun. It was a good old time. We was in the backyard, and we thought there was maybe like 20 people there, and we were, talking to girls, mixing and mingling, and a couple guys got jealous, and as we go to leave, we're kind of getting kicked out, pushed out of the party. So we're like, okay, we're leaving, and one of my roommates, I'm not gonna say his name, but he was asked a question at the gate. I can't even really remember the question, but he turns around and he says, "I'm from New Orleans," and knocks the guy cold out. I looked over at my one roommate and my other roommate, and we were like, all right, we're gonna have to fight our way out of this one. So we fought, a bunch of guys, and it kind of like died down, and we're all still standing. And at that time, we were thinking there was 20 guys at the party, and then there's another 30 guys that ran out of the house. So we seen a couple with knives, and we kind of got scrambled up in the fight, and my two roommates went this way and I went this way, and I was running down the street seeing these guys with knives. There was about 5 of them, and I was running, and I was like, you know what? I don't know where I'm going. I'm just gonna stop and fight this one out. So tried to stop and fight, and I got stabbed. They say it was 17 times. It was 11 punctures, actual stabs in my body. And, I didn't know it. As I'm fighting and trying to fight my way to get back to my roommates, to get to the car to get out, I didn't know it, but like my adrenaline was pumping so much. I reached my hand and I put my finger like in my body, and I pull out, and I was like, and then I figured I was stabbed. So then my mind's really racing. I'm juggling around, I'm hitting people, and it all kind of stopped when one of the guys got his own guy, he got his own friend, and then it all kind of stopped and it died down, which, sad to say, it saved my life. After that, my roommates came down there, and these 2 guys, I don't know who they are to this day, picked me up in a truck, seeing that I was bleeding everywhere, picked me up and put me in the back of their truck. My roommate rode with me, and we were in the back of the truck, and I'm just holding myself, and he's holding me and pushing pressure on everywhere, and I'm bleeding. I see just blood just like leaking down everywhere, and my shirt, all my clothes was real bloody. I'm just looking up, and I'm telling my roommate, like, hey, tell my mom this and this, and I don't want to get into it because I know my mom's gonna see this, but I was telling my mom, tell my brother, tell them this. And when we got to the hospital, I literally seen the hospital. I was like, wow, we're here already. And kind of like, I was thankful, and like, I'm super dizzy, and I pull myself out of the truck, and I just feel blood just run down my legs. And at that point, I got real nervous, and I'm like, oh man, I hope I make it, and they rushed me in there, and I was in the hospital bed, and I was talking to the doc. I'm like, doc, man, just tell me I'm gonna make it. And he doesn't say anything to me, and I'd pass in and out.
Another lineman, Connor Williams, experienced a different type of conflict in his younger days. In Season 6, Pushing Back, From Bullying to NFL Dreams, Williams recalled an emotional moment of his childhood that helped shape his life forever.
The hardest part of my childhood was the mental part. It was the mental fight and this mental struggle. Just feeling hopeless, feeling helpless, not being able to fight back, not being able to do anything, not being able to control the situation. It's being, I have to get up the next day and the same stuff's gonna happen, and I have no control over it.
I realized that he was walking the track when the kids were playing sports after school or during school, that he was walking the track trying to lose weight. Because we were going, okay, where's Connor? He should be home by now.
At that moment, I decided I'm like not going to do this anymore. Like I'm not going to let other people affect me. And so I started walking the track every day. I walked the track during recess, and then I went up after school and I walked the track. And I think it was just me understanding I have power to change. I have power to control my own destiny, control my own fate, and that I was ready for change. I was going through something that I didn't want to go through. I was going through something that was hard and tough for me, and that at the end of the day, I had the control of the situation. I had control of the outcome of it, and so it was up to me. It was up to me deciding what I was going to do about it. For me, that was about getting into shape, and I got to the point in my life where I stopped trying to fit in. I stopped trying to just be accepted. I loved being myself. I loved being with my family, and my family accepted me for who I was. And so that's who truly cared about me. That's who truly loved me. And so that's what I just surrounded myself with.
I love you.
Over the years, Deep Blue has covered other sensitive topics in our society. In Season 8, Mind Games took a deep dive into the mental aspect of playing in the NFL, as stars such as Dak Prescott pull back the curtain to reveal what goes on beyond the X's and O's. Here's a moving story from Hall of Famer Charles Haley, who shared a personal story about his struggles on and off the field.
Football was easy. Football was easy. Hey, you line up, hit them in the mouth. They open that mouth, hit them in the mouth. When they got that mouth open, hit them in the mouth. So you know what? I could hide by mental illness in football because that's what we're trained to do. We're trained to be warriors, hey, to conquer. I'm a conqueror.
This is what my body should look like. This is what a warrior look like.
I believe there's nothing that I can't do. I believe that. So, and when you believe things like that, like you said, that sensitive side, you don't never let out. I was a full-fledged coward when I played because, I would cry a lot. I would go for a 3-mile run and I would think about all the things, and I was trying to just ask God to help me get through this, get through that. Why am I thinking like this? When I was younger, probably 10 or 12, I tried to commit suicide. And I don't know what happened because I put the gun to my head and I pulled it, but the bullet went in the wall, didn't go through my head. And I told my mom, and she slapped me down to the floor. And I would punish myself for the things I did. And somehow I would just do things just because I felt so guilty about it. And and I got away with it. And I was picked on, bullied. Then I became the bully. So that's when I really went into hiding, because now I realize that I'm unstoppable. And that's when, I was able to hide everything. Football gives guys a chance just whatever's come up and you do. It's like the Wild Wild West. You could be whatever you want to be. So you can act out as much as you want.
Way to dog him. Way to use him as a piss boy. George, I hit your mama. Emmitt want to try to joke you, Kevin. Let's joke Emmitt. Darn another camp.
I created that illusion. I didn't want people to see who I was. I didn't want people to see that child screaming for help. You know what? Sometimes I still don't want people to understand that pain inside of me, that coward inside of me, just saying, you know what, Charles, I need help. Reach out.
Sometimes one single event can change the course of history. In 2004, the Cowboys made a decision that not only sent shockwaves through the NFL, but also opened the door for an unlikely player to become the face of the franchise, detailed in Season 1's documentary, Star-Crossed.
If Quincy doesn't get cut, I think that I'd probably end up on practice squad, if that was possible. I don't know all the details on that. But if not, maybe they cut me and I'm playing for somebody else. So, history's crazy. Happens the way it's supposed to.
You know, it's not the first time I'd seen a guy put his head down or kind of retreat totally from the situation or kind of throw his hands up and kind of give up, which is actually what he was doing. I think one of Quincy's problems was that he was a little bit fearful of success. And as he gained a measure of success, which he did, he had his team in the playoffs, he was definitely the starting Cowboy quarterback now. That's a big job. It's a very visible job. And some people just, they want to retreat from that. They don't want that kind of responsibility.
The following morning, Quincy heard a knock at his door.
I think it was like 4:35 in the morning, actually. And it was the Turk. I just really want to just slam the door back in his face, like, what you doing? And then he said, actually get your playbook. I said, oh my God, my heart just boom, boom, boom. It was surreal, to be honest with you, yeah.
That was crazy. You know, we in Oxnard, a beautiful place to go jog, you know, trying to stay in shape and all that, go out and run. Go back through the dining hall afterwards, grab a big glass of Gatorade, and Larry Lacewell's sitting there with a cup of coffee, and he goes, well, Bros, we just cut our starting quarterback. And I'm like, what? And he goes, we just cut Quincy. We just cut him. And I'm like, I don't even want to know.
I can remember seeing him walk down the parking lot, and he was leaving. And that was obviously a big day, you know, for the Cowboys.
Tony Romo eventually became the Cowboys' all-time leading passer, and 10 years after that day, he threw a pass to Dez Bryant that could have sent the team to the NFC Championship game. It was ruled a catch, until it wasn't.
So now I'm gonna fast forward to the Green Bay.
Give me the play, give me the call in the huddle. Give me the call in the huddle, 4th and 2 now. You know this is your down.
Yeah, that's the question. Was that call in the huddle or you made an adjustment?
The call was in the huddle. I remember being on the foul line. And I remember Tony telling me, hey, if it's one-on-one on the outside, I'm giving it to you. I need you to go get it, bud. Just like that. I was like, I don't give a damn where this ball at, I'm going to get it. I don't care where it's at. It's like when the pressure is on, I'm on.
4th down and 2. Here's one down the sideline. Pass caught by Dez Bryant. They're going to mark him inside the 1. And a brilliant catch by number 88.
I know it's a catch. Come down with it, boom, boom, boom. Make the move, try to reach for it. Like, damn, we about to win this game. Like, we really about to win.
We're going crazy. We're going crazy. First down.
We're going to the NFC Championship.
One? Yeah.
It's to the point where I'm like, I'm speechless. I'm like, I cannot believe we are going to the NFC Championship. Because I knew it was over.
Yeah.
You know, when the call came in, everything that I had built up just left me.
Yeah.
It left me.
Deflated you.
Right, and I was like, damn, now I can't believe this is happening. I'm like, how was that not a catch? I'm like, how was it not a catch?
If they would have gave you the catch, no one would have debated that. Yeah. They debated it more since they didn't give you the catch.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So that could have been a catch, but here we go.
But man,
you go up to 410 Park Avenue to make a decision. You guys are on the sideline waiting to hear your fate, you know, that close to the playoff championship game. And then somebody up in New York tells you,
way up in New York,
and we're going crazy.
Yeah. When they were saying it's not a grab, and you were still on the field, you were way down there bound. I saw the ghost come over your face like,
yes.
Yeah.
And it was like, what do you mean it's not a catch? Your lips were all ashy and crusted up. You know, all ashy and crusted up. Like, look at that. I'm like, what do you mean, dude? You know the kind of pressure on my back with these numbers? Oh, you mean that's not a grab?
Yeah, he definitely had the hurt face.
I got that, wasn't it? It was so hurt, man.
Drew Pearson, Des Bryant, and Michael Irvin were the first set of teammates to be featured together in Season 2's documentary 88, but they weren't the last. In Season 8, we flipped to the cornerback position with 24/7 coverage, letting Trayvon Diggs and Everson Walls discuss how they were linked together by a record they share 40 years apart.
So that particular game, when you tied my record with 11, I ended up happened to be Legend of the Week.
Fans, let's take a look at tonight's Globe Life Legend of the Game.
The Cowboys were introducing me that particular game. They always introduce it right after the first series. Here comes the defense is out.
So Prescott back on the bench after they picked up one first down. Little trick play did not work. And here goes Heineke with Antonio Gibson.
And before we even sat down, Heineke comes at you.
Toe injury, but he starts at running back. Off play action. Heineke going deep downfield and interception number 11 for Trayvon Diggs.
There's number 11.
They didn't just do that, did they? They did that, did they?
I mean, I don't know. First of all, no one's expecting that because he's coming at you. It's like they're trying to take your heart right away.
Well, I actually knew that they was going to throw it, that play. Just by off how they was lined up, and he was kind of looking at them before the play. Like, the sideline was up. Everyone was watching on the sideline. Everyone was real intrigued on it to, like, see, I was like, okay, they coming my way.
McLaurin did not have a catch in the game 2 weeks ago because Diggs shadowed him. And Trayvon Diggs, who had that ball all the way, just tied.
You know, if I recall, when I beat Mel Renfro's record with 11, it was in Texas Stadium, but it was the exact same side of the field. And they tried the exact same route.
It's intercepted by Everson Wall. That is a new Cowboy interception record set by the rookie free agent who lived very close to the...
And Mel Renfro just happened to be highlighted that particular game in the stands as well. So he was there to see me do it, and I was there to see you do it. That's kind of eerie.
Nah, that's dope, for sure.
I think that's the kind of theme of this whole show, isn't it?
Yeah.
In the 1960s, the newly franchised Cowboys had their share of challenges, most of them coming off the field. In Season 2 of Deep Blue, the documentary Black and Blue focused on integration within the roster in the 60s and the decision of the NFL to play a game just days after President John F. Kennedy's assassination in Dallas.
12:30 p.m. on November 22nd, 1963, as his motorcade passed through a throng of adoring fans in the middle of downtown Dallas, President John F. Kennedy was assassinated. At the same time that the president's limousine was turning onto Elm Street in front of the Texas School Book Depository, the Dallas Cowboys were in the middle of practice. Suddenly, the equipment manager ran out with the horrible news.
The president's been shot. President been shot. Then he brought the radio out and set it out there on the thing there, and you could hear the blast. And
Coach Landry called us together and he said, the president has been assassinated and we now understand that he's likely passed.
The assassination was a huge blow for the team's African-American players. Cornell Green, then in his second NFL season, stated Kennedy meant that a black man would have a chance. But there was also speculation that some of the more conservative players with Southern roots who didn't agree with the president's civil rights policies held less than sorrowful sentiments in terms of his assassination.
I didn't sense any tension within the team, and yet we knew about the fact that there were players that were not in love with the Kennedys or whatever case might be, okay? As I remember, just kind of got things back in order, with Landry's leadership and so forth.
Getting things back in order meant preparing for the team's next game. Just 2 days later, on November 24th, the Cowboys were scheduled to face the Browns in Cleveland. And while there was the assumption that the games that weekend would be canceled, Commissioner Pete Rozelle decided that President Kennedy would have wanted the games played. It was a decision that Rozelle would live to regret.
When the Cowboys took the field in Cleveland, there was an animosity that went far beyond sportsmanship and competition. There was an anger directed at this community, at these players who had to take the field knowing that so many people in those stands blamed them for the death of the President of the United States.
When we got there, they would not unload our plane. We had to do that. We had to take all the luggage had to be carried up. The fans were throwing pop bottles and cursing us a little bit.
John Wooten, who was then playing for the Browns team, harbored more than a little resentment toward Dallas and the Cowboys.
It was one of the toughest days that you've ever seen. I mean, how can you go out there hooping and hollering and rah-rahing and all, and the president, your president, been killed, the man who you felt was going to move this country forward in terms of making it a better place for everybody.
Not surprisingly, the two sides combined for 9 turnovers, with Dallas earning just 207 yards of total offense. The Cowboys lost by the paltry score of 8-3.
We did not want to play. Cleveland didn't want to play. It was a lousy game. Should have never played it. But it took us 2 or 3 years to get over that. I mean, everywhere we went from then on for the next couple of 3 years, we were booed, thoroughly booed.
It was only when the Dallas Cowboys started to win, started to form the nucleus and foundation of a champion, that their image changed. And in turn, so did that of the city of Dallas. But it would be nearly a decade more before expressions of forgiveness would emerge.
In a 1986 game against the Rams, Tom Landry was escorted off the field when security was alerted to a death threat on the Cowboys' legendary coach. In Season 9, Close to the Vest tells the story of not only Landry's professionalism, but also his courage to return to the field.
Tom Landry is being escorted off the field, and we would have to assume, looking at those circumstances, some sort of threat.
The reason it got everybody's antenna there at that time was the fact that they had had previous problems at Anaheim Stadium with people being arrested carrying guns into the stadium. So they took it very seriously. But from Tom's standpoint, it was like, oh, this can't be true, right? No one's gonna try to shoot me.
At this point, things were going off the rails. You know, we're trying to win a game, and now we're worried about somebody's life being threatened. And Tom Landry's life, of all people. That was really something that it really took away from the focus of the game. As much as Tom Landry wants us to sacrifice, we weren't going, we were really not looking forward to losing our coach.
At that time, I turned to a police officer who was nearby, and I asked him if we could borrow his ballistic vest. We got Coach Landry really fixed up and got him redressed, and we were ready to go back out on the field, which we did. But all of this is under the watchful eye of the live TV broadcasters.
Seconds ago, Tom Landry emerged from the Dallas locker room and escorted back out to the field.
Might have been the first time that Tom Landry was not on the sideline. And when Tom came back, it looked as if he had some sort of protection under his jacket, under his garb that night. So that's when we surmised that, there must have been some sort of a threat, and fortunately nothing came of it.
That was at first in NFL history in terms of, in the middle of a football game, the head coach being escorted off the sideline.
Coach Landry came back and he just walks up to me and he takes the game plan from me and he just starts calling the plays. It's just like nothing happened. And I said, Coach, what's going on? He said, they said there was some kind of a death threat against me. And you had to know Coach Landry to appreciate this, but just as serious as can be, he said, you better not stand too close to me because they might miss me and hit you.
Another scary scene during a game occurred in 2010, Jason Garrett's first game as head coach of the Cowboys. The Season 2 documentary, Sunday at 4:15, detailed a week full of unique circumstances, highlighted by a lights-out moment in New York.
In Jason Garrett's first half as interim head coach, the Cowboys looked like anything but a 1-7 team. Leading by 13 at halftime, the lights were shining bright on the Cowboys and their new coach, until they just stopped shining completely.
Sitting next to, I think Miles was here and Felix was on this side. And we had already kicked off and now they're on offense and the lights go out. And I remember thinking, first of all, you don't know anything and you're in New York and we're not very far removed from 9/11. But I remember, it was fast, 30 seconds or whatever it was. I'm like, I can't see the two people next to me. That's how dark it is. That's crazy.
I'm going to be honest with you. What probably goes through your head in a stadium 6 miles from New York City is, this is a really scary situation. And, the lights go out in the middle of the game. And my memory was things were going well for us, and then the lights went out. And, I don't know how long they were out for, but I can remember that being a little bit of a scary time for everybody.
The first backdrop is you're in New York City, where obviously we had the worst terrorist attack on American soil in our country's history. When those lights go out, my immediate thought was, oh boy, what's happening here? Because that had not happened. Obviously it happened in the Super Bowl in New Orleans a few years later, but I remember Alan Ball, Cowboys defensive back, he was on the field at the time, and he just got in the prone position and he was afraid that there were gonna be shots fired somewhere and he was down on the ground.
A lot of guys in the NFL will say, I'm from tough places. I'm from the streets. I'm from the tough places. And I said, you could tell who was really from the tough places when those lights went out and they hit the ground and were army crawling. They've been through some stuff, but it was scary. It was scary at the time. You had no idea.
One of the gutsiest performances in team history occurred at the end of the 1993 season. The defending champion Cowboys desperately needed a win to gain home field advantage, and Emmitt Smith fought through the pain to give the Giants the cold shoulder.
I knew something was wrong.
Third down and a long two, and Aikman with a draw to Smith, coming right first down, 25 to 30, a lot of room at the 40, chased at the 40 of the Giants, and hauled down at the 35 with a minute 58 remaining to be played, and Smith is down. Emmitt Smith is down at the Giants' 30.
He got tackled and landed all of his weight on that shoulder and had immediate pain.
I just heard him grunt a little bit as I got up, and it was bad that he got hurt, but it was really good for us as a defense because we thought he was out for that game.
I got up, walked off the field, and as I was walking, I was able to move my arm a little bit, so I felt like, okay, it's not broken. By the time we get to the sideline, they doing all those feeling and touching and everything. Then they said, we got to take you inside. I'm like, okay, so we go inside. It's right before halftime.
We all know who we are without him in the lineup, and it's like, wow, this is gonna be tough.
Kevin O'Neill, our head trainer, and Buck Buchanan had walked in with Emmitt at the end of the first half, obviously to scope out the injury, see what it was, see if he was going to be able to play or not.
He'd taken my shoulder pads off, and it's hard for my shoulder pads to come off because I can barely lift my arm. And they give me some x-rays. I'm laying down, and the x-rays come back. Evan comes over here and says, listen, okay, Here's the deal. You have what we call a grade 2 or grade 3 separation.
I told him, my understanding of the injury, the best that I knew it.
He said, I don't need to tell you how important this game. And we need you in this game.
I couldn't tell him that he couldn't make it worse, but I thought the chances were small that, if he could endure the discomfort, that I thought, he could potentially play with it. Some of that was going to have to come from him and how he felt.
If you choose to continue to play, you're going to be in pain. But you cannot hurt your shoulder any worse than what it is now. I said, okay. He said, the rest is going to be on you.
Here comes Emmitt Smith with that extra padding in place inside his shoulder pads.
3 years before Emmitt's legendary game, the Cowboys were fortunate enough to draft him late in the first round. The behind-the-scenes story is one of the many captured in Season 7 with War Stories.
He'd followed his whole career. Jimmy knew exactly what Emmitt was. He just really wanted James Francis. And then he didn't get him. And then they all looked at each other and they said, well, maybe we better look at Emmitt again.
There was a lot of defensive players taken. And about the 14, 15 picks, there was some talk about me going and playing in Green Bay. And that's not where I really wanted to go.
Okay, we just made a deal with Pittsburgh. Okay, we're swapping first rounds. We get their 17th, and we're giving them our 21st in the first round. Okay? That's the one from Minnesota. That's Minnesota.
Wait till they tell you.
Right? And also San Francisco's third, which is the 81st pick.
Hello, Emmitt. This is Coach Johnson with the Cowboys.
Okay,
well, pretty good. How'd you like to put a star on your helmet?
Yes, sure can.
Well, we're going to put your name in. You feeling good? You healthy?
Well, wait a minute.
Fine, man.
We're talking
You ready to go? Okay, we're going to make your pick right now.
He didn't know.
We're going to bring the Dallas Cowboys.
Okay. You got us running back. Not only that, a quality. I mean, like a first round.
He's big time guy. He's the highest guy rated on the board.
What is it? Emmitt Smith.
Under the trade that I just described, Dallas selects Emmitt Smith, running back from Florida.
Just a marvelous back from Escambia, Florida. Emmitt Smith, a true junior. Consensus first team All-American, averages 145 yards rushing a game. Led the team.
Jerry Jones is with us, the owner of the Cowboys. The deal for Emmitt Smith, the Cowboys trying to trade up most of the day. You were back there in the war room. What was the importance of getting Emmitt Smith?
Emmitt speaks for himself. His performance on the field, consensus All-American as a junior. It's great that he's a Cowboy.
I was so excited. All I thought about was a 7-year-old kid wanting to play professional football and wanting to play for the Dallas Cowboys. And that was my moment.
And since there were too many great draft stories to tell, we made a sequel in Season 9 with War Stories 2 that featured the heartwarming story of Deuce Vaughn and his dad, Chris Vaughn, a team scout who spent 3 days keeping his emotions in check before a touching father-son moment materialized.
Improved it by a tenth at the pro day. Here we are. Here's our best rated guy, and it happens to be one of our employees' sons, but it's really kind of funny how it all went. Like Steven and Jerry and Will went into Will's office, and Will kind of came out, he gave me a wink, and I kind of knew it was coming down. But they kind of had a little sidebar, kind of, here's what we're going to do. You know, it was pretty interesting.
How do you, Chris, how do you turn that card in over there?
It's all electronic.
It's all electronic, no card.
Just push the button.
Put Vaughn on that son with you.
I mean, it's unbelievable. I mean, it's like everybody, it just brings like chills and tears to your eyes. Like, And just for see the rewards of that, and then being actually our own team, I mean, it was very special.
Well deserved. Earned ever a second.
Huh? Hey, buddy. Hey, it's going good. This is Dad. My phone wasn't working. Look here, man. You want to come to work with me next week? I wouldn't mind that. I got somebody want to speak to you. I got somebody want to speak to you.
Listen, I don't know when I've been speaking for everybody that's in here and everybody that's really in the heart of the Dallas Cowboys is standing here with a tear in our eye. We're so happy to have you on the Dallas Cowboys.
Man,
And
I can't thank you enough.
Well, what I really want to say, you earned every ounce of me being able to make this call. Every
Yes, sir.
ounce. And I'm so excited. There's just something magical about this moment that may be bigger than we even realize here talking to you on the phone. But you is now a Dallas Cowboy. Your daddy just handed the card in. Right here. It's got him on it. Congratulations. Congratulations. Here's Coach McCarthy. Here's Coach Pop McCarthy.
Great shit, brother.
Throughout the years, the Dallas Cowboys have seen it all. From the glorious wins and the excruciating losses to the coaches, the players, and without a doubt, the stories. Those stories are the backbone of an organization filled with memories.
Could have said, oh, here it goes again.
For 9 years, we've told many of them, but we're truly just getting started.
Dak, this Jerry Jones and your Dallas Cowboy.
As we enter season 10, we'll turn the page on the first decade of Deep Blue, and we'll continue bringing you stories from the illustrious history of the Dallas Cowboys for years to come.
He steps forward and goes for the end zone. Look out down there. It's going to be a touchdown for the Dallas Cowboys. Percy Howard got beyond Mel Blunt. Blunt trying to handle him, couldn't keep up with him, and Percy Howard, a rookie from Austin Peay.
Daryl, you mean the world to me. Not just because we share the same backfield, but because you sacrificed so much for me.
I'm not out there to chew their ass out and create crises. There are going to be enough of them there are. I want to be an encouragement guy. I want to be I want our players that love come to practice.
Jason took that door off the hinges when he went through it once, slammed it open. He was upset. He'd been told a lot of different things.
Jesse Harley, the Cowboys can use you. You report to training camp in San Antonio, July 31st. You make us all proud. Congratulations.
Tired of that. Let's go. If you get your feelings hurt, that's too bad.
We like slapping. Oh, yeah. Oh, man, we all right. Yeah, we pretty good. Jimmy swung that door open. What the hell's going on in here?
That's how I am going to choose to remember MB, as having the time of his life.